This lecture is about the hypothesis testing for differences between means. In many decision-making situations, people need to determine whether the parameters of two populations are alike or different. Decision makers are concerned with the parameters of two populations. In these situations, they are not as interested in the actual value of the parameters as they are in the relation between the values of the two parameters. That is, how these parameters differ. Because we now wish to study two populations, not just one, the sampling distribution of interest is the sampling distribution of the difference between sample means. At the top of this figure, we have drawn two populations identified as population 1 and population 2. These two have the means mu1 and mu2 and the standard deviation sigma 1 and sigma 2 respectively. So again, here beneath each sampling distribution, we show the sampling distribution of the sample mean for that population. So here you can see this is the distribution of all possible values of the mean of population number 1, and similarly this is the distribution of all possible values of mean of population number 2, and the standard errors are sigma x1 and sigma x2 respectively. We can find out the standard error for any distribution. So here we have calculated for the distribution of all possible values of means for two populations. Then the two theoretical sampling distributions of the mean in figure are each made up from all possible samples of a given size that can be drawn from the corresponding population distribution. Now suppose we take a random sample from the population 1 and another random sample from the distribution of population 2. If we then subtract the two sample means, we get x1 bar minus x2 bar. That is the difference between the sample means of the two populations. By constructing a distribution of all possible sample differences of x1 minus x2, we end up with the sampling distribution of the difference between sample means. So here you can see this is a sampling distribution of all possible value of the difference between the sample means of the two populations. So its mean is mu x1 bar minus x2 bar and its standard error is sigma x1 bar minus x2 bar. So like any other population, we can find out the standard error of the difference between two means for this distribution. So the standard deviation of the distribution of the difference between the sample means is called the standard error of the difference between two means. And as we know, the variance of population 1 and variance of population 2, sample size of population 1 and sample size of population 2, we can find out the value of the standard error of the difference between two means. So if the two population standard deviations are not known, then we can estimate the standard error of the difference between two means by taking the samples. So we can use the same method of estimating the standard error that we used before by letting sample standard deviation estimate the population standard deviation. So after that, we estimate the population standard deviation equal to the sample standard deviation. So we take the point estimate. So then estimated standard error of the difference between two means. So that is now sigma cap x1 minus x2. So that is by estimated variances of population 1 and estimated variance of population 2. So this we use in case these value of population are not given. So we find these from samples and we call them as estimated variance of population. So next comes the tests for differences between means. How do we do the hypothesis testing? In this, the first case is large sample sizes. So large sample sizes means both sample sizes are greater than 30. So we move with an example. A manpower development statistician is asked to determine whether the hourly wages of semi-skilled workers are the same in two cities. The results of this survey are presented in table, and suppose the company wants to test the hypothesis at 0.05 level, that there is no difference between hourly wages for semi-skilled workers in the two cities. So here for the two cities, the mean hours are given, the standard deviation is also given of the sample, okay, and size of the sample is also given to us. Now here they have asked that there is no difference between hourly wages, so it is a two-tailed test. So we start with the solution. So first step is state your hypothesis, type of test and significance level. So here, because the sample size is greater than 30, it means we are going to use the normal distribution. Second is we will take the null hypothesis as mu1 is equal to mu2, means there is no difference. Then alternative hypothesis H1 is mu1 is not equal to mu2, means there is a difference, and the level of significance is 0.05. Now, because the company is interested only in whether the means are or are not equal, this is a two-tailed test. So we can illustrate this hypothesis test graphically. So in figure, the significance level of 0.05 corresponds to the 0.025 on in this side and 0.025 on another side, because it is a two-tailed test. So the acceptance region is 0.475 on each side. So from the appendix table number 1, you can find out the critical value of Z, and for alpha equal to 0.075 or the area of 0.475 under the curve, you get Z value as 1.96. So our acceptance region is Z equal to plus minus 1.96. Then we take the point estimate of sigma 1 and sigma 2. S1 and S2 is given to us, so we take them as sigma 1 and sigma 2. Then the third step is to compute the standard error and standardize the sample statistics. So here we will find out the standard error of mean of differences. Okay, so here sigma x1 minus x2, that is equal to under root sigma 1 square upon n1 plus sigma 2 square upon n2. The values are given to us, so it comes out as $0.053. Next step is we have to find out the Z value. For Z value in differences of mean, we use this formula x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 h0 upon sigma cap x1 bar minus x2 bar. We have calculated the value of sigma bar x1 minus x2. x1 minus x2, we have been provided with the values of the means. Then there is the difference, hypothesized difference, mu1 minus mu2. Here no difference is given between the two means that this is taken when we are provided with the value that one mean that is 10% more than the second, then we will get that difference or $5 difference. So then that we take as mu1 minus mu2. Here we are not provided with that value, so that is 0. So z comes out to be minus 2.83. So here if you will see your curve, then the acceptance region is plus minus 1.96, but our value is minus 2.83, so it is in the rejection region. So we will interpret the result that the difference between the two means was 0, but here we know that our standardized difference between the two sample means lies outside the acceptance region. So we reject the null hypothesis of no difference and conclude that the population means they differ. So in this example, we will encounter that we will be testing whether two populations have the same means. Because of this, the hypothesized difference between the two means was 0, mu1 minus mu2 at mu h. So that was 0. So however, we could also have investigated whether the average wages were about 10% per hour lower in Apex than in Eden. So in that case, we have given mu h1 minus mu h2 as 10 cents. So we will change our hypothesis then. In that case, our hypothesis would be mu1 is equal to mu2 minus 0.10, because they have asked that whether the average wages were about 10 cents per hour lower in Apex than in Eden. So that's why our null hypothesis is mu1 is equal to mu2 minus 0.10, and alternative hypothesis is mu1 is not equal to mu2 minus 0.10. So in this case, our mu1 minus mu2 h0 is given as 0.10. So z comes out to be minus 0.94. Rest of the procedure would be same, and in this case we will not reject the null hypothesis because it comes in the acceptance region. Second is, if we had wanted to test whether wages in Apex were lower than the wages in Eden, our hypothesis would have been one-tailed, because here we have to prove that wages in Apex were lower than wages in Eden. So our null hypothesis would be mu1 is equal to mu2, and alternative hypothesis would be mu1 is less than mu2. So it is one-tailed test in this case. Rest of the procedure would be same. And finally, if we had wanted to test whether wages in Apex were more than 10 cents per hour lower than wages in Eden, again lower than or more than we have been asked, so it would be the one-tailed test. Again, the difference between these two has also been provided as 10 cents. So it is a one-tailed test, but mu1 minus mu2 h0 is given as minus 0.10, as our null hypothesis is mu1 is equal to mu2 minus 0.10, and alternative hypothesis is mu1 is less than mu2 minus 0.10. So in this case, it is a one-tailed test with mu1 minus mu2 as minus 0.10. Let's do a numerical on this. two independent samples of observations were collected. For the first sample of 60 elements, the mean was 86 and the standard deviation is 6. The second sample of 75 elements had a mean of 82 and a standard deviation of 9. Compute the estimated standard error of the difference between the two means, and using alpha equal to 0.01, test whether the two samples can reasonably be considered to have come from populations with the same mean. Again, here we have been provided with the data that the standard deviations of both the samples have been given, the number of samples for both population is given to us, and mean of both the populations has been provided to us. So standard error of the difference between the two means, that is equal to sigma cap x1 minus x2 is equal to under root s1 square upon n1 plus s2 square upon n2. Substituting the values, we get it as 1.296. Second is at alpha equal to 0.01, we have to test the hypothesis that whether the means are same or not. So it is a two-tailed test. Null hypothesis is mu1 is equal to mu2. Alternate hypothesis is mu1 is not equal to mu2. At alpha equal to 0.01, from the table 1, we take z as plus minus 2.58. And observed value we can find out. Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 h naught divided by sigma cap x1 bar minus x2 bar. Here again mu1 minus mu2 h naught is 0. Substituting other values, we get it as 3.09, which is more than our limited value of z, that is 2.58. So we reject the null hypothesis. It is reasonable to conclude that the two samples come from different populations. Next is test for differences between means for small sample sizes. Small sample sizes is when both the sample sizes are less than 30. So when the sample sizes are small, there are two technical changes in our procedure for testing the differences between the means. The first one is the way we compute the estimated standard error of the difference between the two sample means, and the second, we will base our small sample test on the t-distribution rather than the normal distribution. So the formula for the standard error of difference between two means will change when we are having small sample sizes. So for that, we take an example. The institute has been investigating two education programs for increasing the sensitivity of its students. The original program consisted of several informal question and answer sessions with leaders of the English-speaking community. Over the past few years, a program involving formal classroom contact with professional psychologists and sociologists has been developed. The new program is considerably more expensive, and the professor wants to know at the 0.05 level of significance whether this expenditure has resulted in greater sensitivity. So here in this numerical, the mean sensitivity for both the programs is given to us. Okay, number of samples for both programs is given to us, which is 12 and 15, both are less than 30, and estimated standard deviation of sensitivity after the program is also given as 15 and 19. So because only limited data are available for the two programs, the population standard deviations are estimated from the data. Okay. Second is the company wishes to test whether the sensitivity achieved by the new program is significantly higher than that achieved under the older, more informal program. So it means what? It is a two-tail test. So again we will move in the same manner. Our step 1 is state your hypothesis, type of test and significance level. So null hypothesis is mu1 is equal to mu2, means there is no difference in the sensitivity levels achieved by the two programs. Alternative hypothesis is mu1 is greater than mu2, means the new program results in higher sensitivity levels and the level of significance is 0.05. Then second is choose the appropriate distribution and find the critical value. Again, because we have to use the sample variances to estimate the unknown sigma square, the test will be based on the t distribution with degrees of freedom as n1 plus n2 minus 2. Because we are having two populations. For one population, the degree of freedom is n1 minus 1. Similarly, for second population, the degree of freedom would be n2 minus 1. So, combining two series or two populations, we get the degree of freedom as n1 plus n2 minus 2. So, here n1 is 12, n2 is 15. So, 12 plus 15 minus 2 is equal to 25 degrees of freedom. Because we are doing an upper tailed test at a 0.05 significance level, the critical value of t is 1.708. Okay, we are asking mu1 is greater than mu2. So it is upper tailed test. So t comes out to be 1.708 for 0.05 significance level. And here you can see that 0.05 should be on one side, upper tail 0.05. So t value comes out to be 1.708. So this is our acceptance region and this is our rejection region. Next step is compute the standard error. So standard error of differences of means is S square is equal to, here we will use this formula. So this formula is different for the small sample size than the large sample size. So here this formula is used to find out the sigma square. So n1 minus 1 s1 square plus n2 minus 1 s2 square divided by n1 plus n2 minus 2. From here we will find out the value of SP, and this SP will be used to find out the standard error of difference. So this is the formula to find out the standard error of the difference. So here we will use that value of SP. So substituting the values, you will get it as 6.721. And the step 4, standardize the sample stats. So for that, now again instead of z we will be using t. Formula is same. Here mu1 minus mu2 h0 is 0. So substituting the value of means x1 bar and x2 bar and the calculated value of sigma x1 bar minus x2 bar, we get the t value as 1.19. So if you will find out, this is 1.19, this is in acceptance region. So we can say that we accept the null hypothesis that there is no difference between the sensitivities achieved by the two programs. We will do one numerical on it. Okay. So after that, the next article is testing differences between means with dependent samples. So in the previous example, our samples were chosen independent of each other. But sometimes it makes sense to take samples that are not independent of each other. So that generally happens in before and after study. So the same set of things are there on which the readings are taken before and then after. So with dependent samples, we still follow the same basic procedure that we have followed in all our hypothesis testing. The only differences are that we will use a different formula for the estimated standard error of the sample differences, and that we will require that both samples be of the same size, because we are saying that same set is there on which before and after studies is done. So it means what we will do, the number of samples that would be same, n is same. So how to proceed, we will discuss it with the help of an example. A health spa has advertised a weight reducing program and has claimed that the average participant in the program loses more than 17 pounds. A somewhat overweight executive is interested in the program but is skeptical about the claims and asks for some hard evidence. The spa allows him to select randomly the records of 10 participants and record their weights before and after the program. The overweight executive wants to test at the 5% significance level the claimed average weight loss of more than 17 pounds. So here we have two samples that are clearly dependent on each other, and because the same 10 people have been observed twice. So here again at 5% level, the claimed average weight loss of more than 17 pounds. So 10 participants are there. 10 participants means less than 30. It means we will go for the T distribution. If it would have been more than 30, then we would have followed the normal distribution. Okay. So this is the first step, that state your hypothesis, type of test and significance level. So here we know mu1 minus mu2 is equal to 17. Null hypothesis is that average weight loss is only 17 pounds, and the alternate hypothesis is mu1 minus mu2 is greater than 17, that is the average weight loss exceeds 17 pounds and the level of significance is 0.05. Now here, because the same people are weighed before and after, so what we are really interested in is not the weights before and after but their differences. So conceptually what we have is not two samples of before and after weights, but rather one sample of weight loss. So if the population of weight losses has a mean mu L, we can restate our hypothesis as null hypothesis should be mu L, means the mean weight loss is equal to 17, and alternative hypothesis is that weight loss is greater than 17. So now we will proceed in the same way as we used to do in case of the one sample. So hypothesis testing of one sample. So that would be the procedure followed in this case. So the first step is state your hypothesis, type of test and significance level. We have now stated the hypothesis as null hypothesis is equal to mu L equal to 17, and alternative hypothesis is mu L is greater than 17. Step 2 is choose the appropriate distribution and find the critical value. Because we want to know whether the mean weight loss exceeds 17 pounds, an upper tailed test is appropriate, and the significance level is 0.05, and T distribution is followed as the sample size is only 10. Degrees of freedom would be 10 minus 1, 9. So 0.05 for 9 we take T as plus 1.833. Computing the paired differences. So in the same way that we used to do in the simple single sample, So before and after weights are given, we will take weight loss x. This would be our x. From this value of x, we can find out sigma x bar, and then we can find out the mean. Then x square, sigma x square we can find out, then we can find out the standard deviation, 4.40. So then compute the standard error and standardize the sample stats. So here we will take the point estimate. So for the population, standard error would be taken as the estimate from the sample standard error. So same. So standard error of the mean would be here sigma x bar equal to sigma upon under root n, that comes out to be 1.39, and t value x bar minus mu h naught upon sigma cap x bar. Substituting the values, we get t as 1.94. So critical value was 1.833 and calculated is 1.94. So it is coming in the rejection region. So the executive can reject the null hypothesis and conclude that the claimed weight loss in the program is correct. So often in testing differences between means, it makes sense to take samples that are not independent of each other. So for example, if you are measuring the effect of a rust inhibitor on the buildup of rust on metal pipe, you would normally sample the rust on the same pipes before and after applying the inhibitor. Doing that controls the effects of the different locations, heat and moisture. So because the same pipe is involved twice, the samples are not independent. So we will do one more problem on this. So for that, a company has, this is the data for a company where two computers, they have been studied, their price. So Epson price is given from 9 dealers. Similarly, OK Data price is also given from the 9 dealers. So here we have to find out that at alpha equal to 0.05, is it reasonable to assert on average the OK Data printer is more expensive than the Epson printer? So I repeat this statement. 9 computer component dealers in major metropolitan areas were asked for their prices on two similar color computers. So the results of this survey are given in this table. So at alpha equal to 0.05, is it reasonable to assert that on average the OK Data system is more expensive than the Epson? So here again we can find out the value of x bar, okay, mean, and we can calculate the standard deviation. So because it is from the same dealer, okay, same number of samples are there, so we will take this as the paired values or the dependent data. So we will calculate the difference, we will find out the mean of the differences, and we will find out the standard deviation from the given data. As the sample are less than 30, so we have to go for the t distribution. So here S square, that can be calculated using this formula. Substituting the values, we get S as $15.63. So sigma x cap, this is the standard error, okay, of the differences, that comes out to be S upon under root n. That comes out to be $5.21. So here our hypothesis, null hypothesis, is mu naught is equal to mu a, and alternative hypothesis is mu naught is greater than mu a at alpha equal to 0.05. So from the table of t distribution at alpha equal to 0.05 for a one tail test, we can find out the value of t as 1.860, and observed value of t is x bar minus mu h naught upon sigma x bar. So that comes out to be 0.981. So 0.981 is less than 1.860. So it means it is in acceptance region, and we do not reject the null hypothesis. We do not reject the null hypothesis means that mu naught is equal to mu a, means the price of both the computers on the average are same, or we can say that the OK data printer is not more expensive than the Epson printer. Thank you.